Welcome to our show, Ashutosh. It's been almost 6 years since your last film came. So how does it feel to be returning after such a long sabbatical, and how do you think the industry has changed over this period of time?
I don't call it a sabbatical simply because, during Kheliam Jijan Se, I was also preparing for another film called Buddha. And it took me a year and a half of prep. And after that, because of some production problem, the film didn't get made. But my time investment was for those 18 months. And then I suddenly realized that I need to start work on Mohenjo since I'm not making Buddha anymore. And that's how Mohenjo started. And Everest also started. So 2 years went in Everest, and then the overlapping 4 years for Mohenjo Daro. So actually, if you ask me, I've been working around the clock.
Correct.
I didn't take any break, or I didn't take, sit back, think, what am I going to do next? I was not doing all of that. So it's great to be now, today, 3 days away from the release. It's very exciting that something that was planned 4 years ago is now finally coming to the screens. I'm now very waiting in anticipation to look at audience responses.
So this concept is very intriguing, very novel. How did the germ of the idea come to you?
I always used to think about, whenever I saw a film about the Greek civilization or the Roman civilization, I would look at it with awe and think, my God, what these civilizations were and how they have impacted world over through cinema. And when I started thinking about what do we have on our side of the globe, and I realized that our own civilization, our first civilization, our ancestors, and we don't have a movie about them. So with that thought, I started exploring and started getting deeper and deeper, bit by bit, to find that it's something that is very relevant to today's times, the civilization. And if I base my story on Mohenjo-daro, the city, it can become even more relevant. Because if it's not relevant, a period piece doesn't engage an audience. So I started working in that direction and finally brought together information that it came into a script form. So that took some time.
What kind of research went into the making of this film, before you finally drafted the final script?
What I did first is I just acquired every book available in the market on archaeology and read about it. So it took me just 3 months just to read, and I got every book available. And I realized that there are 3-4 different chains of thoughts, different interpretations about the civilization. And the one that I thought is a theory that I identify with, I thought of inviting that particular archaeologist to India. So he's someone called Jonathan Mark Kanaya, who is the head of anthropological department in the University of Wisconsin. So I wrote to him. I told him I want to make a film on Mohenjo-daro. And he was he was surprised, he was happy, and he was like, oh my God, no one has ever done a film on the civilization. And we are glad that you're doing it, and whatever help you want, I will be there for you. And that's how I invited him over. And then combined it with 5 other archaeologists within the country, had a seminar with them. And in that 1-week seminar, I took as much information possible from them about their findings and about their study. And I created a script, made them read it, got it approved from them. Because I wanted them to be most comfortable. Because ultimately, in a way, it's they who have been studying it.
Correct.
And they are, giving our findings to the world. Because when they find, like recently, if you remember, it's been now confirmed that this civilization was 8,000 years old. Earlier, it was always taken as 5,000.
4, 5, yeah.
Yeah, so now it's 8,000. So that's a new finding. So, of course, when I heard that it's 8,000, I immediately looked at Sunita and said, listen, I have to reshoot the entire movie. She almost fainted. She said, please ignore that. So it was important to get their information, which is fact, and combine my fiction with it. And that's what the movie is.
So why the title Mohenjo-daro? Why not Indus Valley Civilization, Harappa or Lothal?
Because the most populous city in the entire civilization is Mohenjo-daro. I mean, of course, Harappa also. But something about Mohenjo-daro draws me to it, personally.
Since your school days?
Yeah. Because that's the name that one got attached to more than even Harappa.
Correct.
And Lothal and Rakhigarhi, Kalibangan, Dhoravira, these are all other cities, similar in nature, but not so known internationally. And I wanted a name which is global. And the global name is Mohenjo-daro. So I decided to base it on this city.
Okay. As we now know that you've done a lot of research, but there are still detractors who are saying that the film is not well researched, not historically accurate, right from the title to the costumes. So what do you have to say in the film's defense?
No, see, they're not talking about the film. I mean, they are commenting just on a trailer. And they probably are commenting because they are either following another archaeologist's theory, which is different from the archaeologists that I'm working with. Because even within historians and archaeologists, there is a lot of debate.
Yeah, there's a difference of opinion.
Yeah. Like how did the civilization end? There are 5 different theories.
Correct.
You cannot have all 5 in one movie. So I had to choose one path. So the moment someone who has studied it feels that there is some difference, he or she feels, oh my God, something different is happening here. So it's just that I cannot say they are wrong because it's an interpretation. No one knows. The archaeologists themselves say that it's all speculation. So if someone is saying I'm wrong, how are they saying that? How do they know what is right? So I think it's all speculation, and you have to follow. Since I'm making the movie, that's one vision that you need to come and see the movie to enjoy the film and to see what has been created in the movie. Rather than just reacting to the trailer, is all that I'm saying.
So you have some major affinity towards period dramas. Why so?
I think, the pattern has been such that I've made more period films than contemporary. But the fact is, I've also made Swadesh, and I've also made Vatsya Rashi, which is contemporary. But in the number game, the period is more, the historicals are more. I never think that I want to make a historical. That's not my first thought. My first thought is, can I bring to screen a chapter of history that has been forgotten or that no one knows of? So if you look at a Kheliam Ji Jaan Se, it's about Surya Sen and the Chittagong revolution, which very few people know about. Jodha and Akbar is about their relationship, which very few people know about. So it fascinates me to bring these untold stories to screen. And it's the same for the Indus civilization, Mohenjo-daro.
As you said that there's a lot of debate about how it ended, what it was. So not much is known about the Indus Valley civilization. And this film is entirely your figment of imagination because there wasn't a person called Sarman. Maybe there was, but then
there can't be.
No,
the fact
so
is
now,
you're right.
Is it easier for you to make a film where you have no reference point, or is it more difficult?
No, it's tougher. It's tougher because audiences are not going to be thinking about just a story. It's a blend. If you make a film just about the civilization with great detail and all of that, and the story is not happening, they're going to reject the movie. However, great details I put in my entire other departments. And if I make a film which is just a great story but hardly anything about the civilization, that itself also will not work because then you're calling the film Mohenjo-daro, you have to show what the civilization was. So it has to be a blend. So I've tried to create that blend where we are seeing an engaging story set in these times. So it's a drama and also a love story.
So you worked with Hrithik in Jodha Akbar. Now you're working with him again. How has Hrithik changed as an actor over these years?
I think he's grown by leaps and bounds. He was, every actor or every creative person usually builds from his previous experience, and he takes that experience to another level. I think the same has happened to Hrithik, because after Jodha Akbar, he's done a very tough role in Guzarish. He's done a next door boy in Zindagi Milegi Na Dobara, which is a very different kind of a film. Here's a guy who's larger than life playing Krish, playing Akbar, suddenly he's playing a next door boy. So his talent as an actor, he's putting that to test with each and every film. So when he comes to me after a Bang Bang, which again is a very cool film, it easily, that experience comes to the benefit of playing Salman. And comes to the benefit in a different way, because since we both have done Jodha Akbar, it is a different kind of a joy to be now doing a movie after being there, done that once. Now to do another period film, another era, create a new character. That's all very interesting. So it was a fun experience of working together on this one.
So this film you've made on a massive scale. Why did you cast a new actress, and how confident are you about Pooja?
Oh, I am super confident about her, because I think she's an actress who we must watch out for. She's here to stay. She's very natural. She has a lot of dignity and grace in her, which is very natural, and that lends itself very well to the character that I'm having in the film, that of Chani. But those are the qualities which will, I think, take her a long way. I think she has a very infectious smile. When she smiles, you want to smile with her on screen. So there are many qualities that she has, which other filmmakers will also want to, have in their movies.
But why a new actress? Why not an established one for a project this big?
But this film, I needed a new face, because the character was such that I want the audience to come and discover not only the world, but when they look at Chani, they should be wondering who this girl is, what this character is, what is she about to do.
They should fall in love with.
They should fall in love with that. But if it is a star, it has a benefit of a different kind, but it also has a drawback, which that star is automatically bringing with her a baggage from another film, or a baggage of another very strong character that the person has played in another movie. That gets entangled when you're playing a character like this. So I needed a new face.
Your films otherwise are, 3 hours long, because you build the script, build the characters. This one I've heard that is relatively shorter. How true is that?
It is absolutely true. It's just a 2 hour, 30-minute film. See, the other films earlier were longer because they needed that length, because the stories lend themselves to that kind of a duration. Lagan had a climax which was of 1 hour. The cricket match was just 1 hour. And if you look at Jodha Akbar, in contemporary times, you just say a hi or a hey. In the times of Mughal Akbar's, Emperor Akbar's court, you had the 3 salams. So if you're trying to create the world, you have to show the 3 salams, because that's the protocol.
Right.
And that
Required
makes the film,
length.
it needs time, so it makes the film longer. But this one, no. This one has been a much more snappier film. It's clocking at 2 hours 30.
So you've always had very subtle romances in your films, but this time kisses are hogging all the limelight. Why did you choose to have kisses this time and not in the previous films?
It's actually straight away a script thing. It's how your romance unfolds. So if I'm having an unspoken romance, in a Lagan or even in a Swades, the culmination of the romance was completely towards the end of the film, and a kiss was not required, because I feel that a lot of times romance is best when it's
Unspoken.
just looking at each other, just a gaze at each other's eyes, just admiring. That itself is a very strong romance. And I have always tried to project it in that way. This film needed a kiss which was very cute. When you see it in film, you'll realize it has a cuteness attached to it. So it's there.
So how is it working with Sunita Gowarike, your wife, and how is she as a producer? Is she a hard taskmaster?
Oh, she's absolutely she's a hard taskmaster, but she's also very creative as a producer because, she will ask me, why do I need, say, Yodha Akbar, if I give an example, why do I need 100 elephants? But once I tell her the reason why I need it and what is the purpose of it and how we can achieve, then she will go all out and make sure that I get that as a requirement. But there are so many other times, even in Mohenjo Daro, she would, try and juggle, don't spend this money here in this sequence, let's save that money and use it in that sequence, that needs more money there. That kind of shuffling she often does. So in showbiz, she's the biz and I'm the show. And we try to maintain that as a balance.
You're marking your acting comeback now. What do you have to say about it? And tell us more about it.
Not yet. I think that question will probably be answered best end of August.
End of August, okay. So tell our audiences quickly, why should they watch Mohenjo Daro?
I would straight away say it's a case of national identity for us. We have feelings of patriotism, we have feelings of nationalism, but a sense of national identity is something that to know what our roots are. And in this civilization, which is one of our earliest civilizations, these were our ancestors, this aspect is coming to the screen for the first time. So if they want to know what kind of a world this was and what kind of a civilization this was, they should watch the movie.
Thank you so much for being on our show. It was a pleasure talking to you and I wish you all the best for Mohenjo Daro.
Thanks so much.